Okay, this is going to be the third page of the work packet, Unit 1, Lesson 4. It's on page 6. It says the grand staff, and then it says ledger lines. So the grand staff is the treble on the top, the bass clef on the bottom, and yes, I did skip over bass clef because I want you to focus on treble clef and not get confused, because sometimes when people put both of them together, they get confused. So I will have done the bass clef, like anything you need to know about bass clef, I will do it on the worksheet for you, so you just know you don't have to answer it. But you can know, hey, that's a bass clef. That line here is an important part. Yes, my line is messy. You could draw yours more pretty than that. And then the brace is also an important part to make it a grand staff. And yes, it connects everything together. Ledger lines says the middle notes. Well, it's in the middle of the grand staff, like they would happen around here, stuff like that. I don't really call them middle notes. They're short lines that are added to extend the range of the staff. So we've been writing do on a ledger line. We've been doing the D and the C, which is the do and the re. They're technically ledger line kind of notes, though the D is not actually, it's not on a line, but it's outside of the staff, so it can be considered as a ledger line note. Basically, if you learned that Every Good Boy Does Fine stuff and the face that we learned on the last page, that is all fine and dandy. But if you don't know your line, space, you're not going to be able to figure out the ledger lines, so your ability to complete things will be hindered. Number 1, trace these 3 braces. So go ahead and use your pencil to follow over that. Ooh, mine's squiggly. Then use the provided staffs, that's these over here, to be able to write grand staffs. You'll have to do the line, the bracket, and clefs. I think I did the bass clef for you though, but you can copy it if you want to. Write the name of the treble clef. This one you can definitely do, and if you don't know the answer from Every Good Boy Does Fine or face, you can use your line space knowledge to try to figure it out, because that would be the best way to practice. Or you can use the picture that's up there that I just circled. If the best way to think about it is, I know that this is E, Every Good Boy Does Fine. If I go down to the immediate next space, I'm going one step down. If I'm going one step down, I'm going one letter backward in the alphabet. That makes this a D. This is another one. I know this is E. If I went one down, one step to that space, that would be D. If I did this ledger line 1, that would be C. Therefore, I know that this one's B. That would be the best way to figure those notes out. Some people will choose to just look up here, and that's fine too. I did the bass clef one, so I did this part for you, so you don't need to do it yourself. That says B. I don't know why I did that. Anyways, so I did, again, the bass clef ones for you. For you. You don't have to worry about those, but you do need to write the notes indicated by the clefs and letter names in 2 places on the grand staff. Add ledger lines where necessary. So what it's saying is, somewhere here, using either just the notes in the Every Good Boy Does Fine or the face like the previous page, or some of these notes that are on the ledger lines. If you look up toward the top, this part, then you need to write notes in 2 places. So here's C written in 2 different places. You need to do 2 different places for D, 2 different places for B, and 2 different places for C again. You do not need to worry about the bass clef. Okay? It's not going to work well. Whee! That is the end of that sheet.